these are things that maybe the character Gumshoe is not actually dealing with. All the ways of not incorporating into those two ways. And he does that by the making his gum, which apparently, yeah, he does that by spinning the diamonds on the mirror, and then of course using his gum as a gum shooter. And that's how he becomes not a doll permanently. And I'd like to say that is by hell was once described as like the ground breathing, and so that is kind of like a screen in the wind, like a screen door in the wind, and there's like dark energy all around. It's like dark energy instances, and imagine that if the dark energy instances all around was fluttering, it would be like the ground would be breathing. And that's probably what Gumshooter is seeing. And he's just trying to spin diamonds and make his gum shoot it and escape the ground breathing, so he wants HE double hockey sticks. And it has to do with ragdolls, obviously, because you would be a ragdoll just going in between fixtures and structures. But more importantly, when the fly or mosquito lands on you, that would be encompassing the idealism of cookie cutter. Cookie cutter is like a thing that resembles like a cookie cutter apartment or complex or neighborhood where everything looks the same. Like in the movie Edward Scissorhands, where the neighborhood is everything looks the same. That's just pure communism, and it would seem like a jail cell everywhere if that were the case. And that is the case in some cases, but nevertheless, if that's what's going on, the character I'm making up is Gumshooter, where he is like partial ragdoll. And he's trying to overcompensate the cookie cutter. Just as we're humans battling to not have sin, you have to tip your hat to what we have come up with. Androids, droids, and cyborgs are both degrees of artificial intelligence, not having a soul, partial soul if you're half and half, and then the other is other. There's three of them, I don't know, but Gumshooter is on the other side of the spectrum. He's of a doll, and he's like Pinocchio. He was trying to be a real boy, more in the lines of Pinocchio, and that has to be with like how the earth is an entity, the stock market is an entity, the judicial system is real. You could say real or not, because before it was made up, it wasn't. Which actually might be the key faction and one of the constituents and why they're trying to make the creation proposal stories actual, because in order to be real, you have to say a beginning. So in that case, what I was just saying about the judicial system isn't real. One of the things it takes to being real is to have the beginning. Where if the evil wins in any story, if the evil wins and then it gets to say to the good thing that made it, don't you regret making me evil? Because I tricked everything in between to thinking that it isn't good. Therefore, I'm the best bad thing and you were wrong for having made evil a thing. So then between evil and good is neutral, and that's what the plane where you have to understand the dolls, the robots, and humans' flesh are all playing with. And you can look at it as like the four forces, how you need to actually like understand how these are thresh points, bookmarkers, paperweights, of which you like angle off logistics of those three races, and to understand soul, what a soul is. Sometimes a thing that is uneasy to understand is only because it's dissimilar. What am I preparing to share with you today is something of irregular rationality. Now take that with a grain of salt. They are coming for your 2 cents. Okay. They are coming for your 2 cents. Who is they? Communist socialism. I don't know what socialism is, but it's always negative. But let me tell you, the keys to the automation future and the keys that are a computer and a car are also going to be padlocked with an encryption of data. Padlocked at the front door, padlocked with the key. You're not going to be able to buy that unless you're in the club. The creation stories, a lot of them were encompassing how they could or could not understand the universe, so this is how they think happened. And that's a conspiracy. But if you are here, I thought of a different way to come up with it automatically, but to learn, because we don't know too much about a thing in a field. The different fields are things. Field of neuroscience is where you have a memory and they don't know where it came from. Where's your brain? Use your brain. Of course, the neuroscience, it is of the brain studying, but if you don't know where the memory comes from, then that's basically a great conspiracy where boop, boop, boop. And so that's the trigger, but if a trigger isn't pulled, then it was being nonchalant yet very upfront. That's pretty slick. Like, automatically he was like, I have a family picture that I'm going to today, and oh my gosh, you're doing this and that. I mean, this guy could say this every time. This could be his go-to, like his every time. Oh, what are you talking about? I mean, like at a bar, there's pickup lines that you always do, and this guy could have this thing. It's not like a pickup line, but it's called icebreakers. This is their heirloom. So by saying that, it's an illusion that they're there in spirit, and perhaps that's the ultimate conspiracy that actually is one. That the soul, all the creation stories are trying to envelop him for knowing the universe through understanding what is the soul, how to measure it, where to find it. So, but in spirit, my dead friends are there. I don't know if that's true, but that's what the heirloom was meant for. And this is what I found today is a random number generator. That's what they're all trying. Now, what's AI? What's a machine? I broke it down to just a plants and animals. And it can like have like breakaway group, like humans were a breakaway group from animals, and then now let's get into the AI of that fact of the matter. Is like a robot any different than the Earth, because like the Earth is an entity where it is breathing. People would say that's true, but then break down what is breathing. It is like when air pockets are going up and then deflating minusculely, because you can have like operations where you could technically put in a balloon connected to your windpipe and it could double as a lung for like a second or two. So that's where I'm gonna use my comic for like things that are important. I'm gonna make extremely like the cover page, and then the middle page is gonna be a full out painting. The ember's white because the fire just keeps going out. So wherever you put the container of liquid, you want to like compress as much little pieces of wood in that area, and then try and compress. It's ideal to make the outskirts be vertical so they're keeping everything tight, and you're just shuffling over it until the coals get hot enough, and you keep shuffling and chasing the flame while dripping some of this on. See, the wind took it out, so now you have to relight it, but this is the name of the game. And here, this cat's cradle contraption. I don't know how this got stuck in there, but once it did, it's hard to kind of like maneuver it out, especially since it can't go in that way. And this goes with the saying like more is less. But when something like this does happen, it's like that's when the seed actually is planted, and it is starting to grow. Like when it gains its wingspan as the helicopter and it's able to stay put. It's in the same direction that this end cap like gains its position. Imagine if this string grew through there and then grew the end cap. The end cap was achieved for the string going through there. Boop, boop, bing, bing. Leaves flying all around. And when they see a wind tunnel, they tend to stay up and not fall down immediately, especially if they have enough wingspan where they do like a helicopter. Perhaps that's what the farmers in the seeding would do when they're going around trying to find nutrients. It would be small wind tunnels everywhere up there. If you're basing off the borders just being gaps in the ground, tree lining or buildings, cars, any plane that isn't wide open, and if there is a wide open plane, then base it off blades of grass sticking up. Would be ways of making the wind tunnel like a whirlpool, but with the seed growing in the air.